Good morning, fellow Nigerians across the globe. Of course, it's a wonderful day, Democracy Day. We're not going to say anything about the Democracy Day yet until we hear the president's speech. But this morning, I want us to look at a message I simply titled, that falsified history can never change the simple fact that it takes an emperor to rule an empire, just as it will take a king to rule a kingdom. This message is coming to you as a result of some ethnic groups in Nigeria who have decided to do the part of falsifying history, deliberately distorting the history of others, maybe to rule over us, maybe to manipulate the next generation of our people, maybe to chase us away from our land. But whatever it is, they will not succeed, not with the truth at our disposal. And that is why the governor of Akwa Ibom State, somewhere along the line, lashed it out on living in bondage. Kenneth Okonkwo. I really don't know what made that man to say that thing. But for him to begin to say what he said was because he must have had a negative impact, his own share of this propaganda, disinformation, character assassination coming from Igbo Biafra people. And these are his words. We are not living in bondage. We are living in reality. Because living in bondage failed in Nollywood movie. He ran away. He joined politics after dragging up and down and speaking irrelevant English. We are not seeing his foot on politics in Nigeria. He has tried to do so many things. In all of them, he failed. A lawyer who has never moved a motion, and so on and so forth. Most of you will not agree, but go and look at, for that sitting governor, Eno, to react that way. He have perceived a danger from what you call ordinary words. Watch these Igbo Biafra people. They will soon come here and begin to insult me. They want you to discredit what I'm saying. But they don't talk to their people when they are running mad. And somehow you say ignore them. And a lot of damage is done to our identity as a people. And my people will say, Nikome, yakonyara jabofia. Ignore them, ignore them. Look at the level they have gone to. They want to criminalize our society. If we have allowed them, the unknown gunmen will be ravaging Asaba. Have they not entered before? Are they not sharing who controls our bush now with headers men? Or you think we don't know what we are saying? But let me not digress further and come back to our discussion this morning. I said that no matter how they try to falsify the history, the truth remains that it takes an emperor to rule an empire. Just as the same way it takes a king to rule a kingdom. These are no longer the eras of emperors or kings. And I'm not very sure if there is any country around the world today who is practicing monarchy system of government. The Queen of England is no longer there. The Egyptian monarch does not stand. Maybe only the United Emirates, the royal family. We are in a generation or in the era where every country is ruled by prime minister or president. And so it's going to take one of them to rule a country. And now, there is a woman, I think she should be the Omo of Ogbaru, who came out on the Facebook because she was bragging that she has to make that broadcast so that our people, Anyocha people, Anyoma people should know. This Omo said that we are Igbo, which is contrary to what the Obi of Onitsha have said. But let me give you a brief history of the Omo sheep so that you will see the desperation of these Igbo people trying to claim what does not belong to them, trying to reap where they did not labor. I repeat that there are many communities in Anambra State that are not Igbo people, but they will not be able to see it now. because it's almost too late for them. Obi of Onitsha, the highest they can tell you is that he migrated from Benin. He cannot tell you he's not an Igbo man. And you cannot migrate from Benin and then you are Igbo man. Something is not right. Now go and tell the Omo of Ogbaru, if she is the one that made that broadcast, that she's a disgrace to Omo sheep. And now we know why Omo sheep is almost dying. Tell her, in my family, from my maternal home and my paternal home, I come from lineage of Omo sheep. If you go to Ekukuabo, I am related to the last Omo, or you call them Inyese or Chano, from Ekukuabo. You go to Umunede, my mother is from the descendant. In fact, my grandmother is the last Inyese of Umunede. If you go to areas where I am connected to, from both wings, so we know what Omo sheep is. As Omo of Ogbaru, why is the Omo sheep dying? That woman is not an Igbo woman. But Igbo have conquered them. But we will save all of them. All of you, both those of you in Nnewi, both those of you in Oba, we know all of you. But we want your Igbo Biafra madness to take the best of you before we respond to you. You will save yourself, don't worry. Now, she is telling you as Anyocha that you are Igbo. Why is it that the Omo sheep is not practiced anywhere in the southeast except in Anambra State? Maybe that will begin to give you a clue. But like I said, let me give you a hint about who the Omo are. It is quite unfortunate that the Omo of Okpana has passed on. You will see, she tried to make the Igbo people to see the truth, but they never listened to her. It was when she started publicly registering her displeasure against the madness of Igbo unity beggars. All of a sudden, she died. Let us assume she died of a natural cause. It's okay. She was the one telling them the true history. He was the one telling everybody the truth about the Omo sheep. She was a sincere woman, highly educated, transparent, well-traveled, approachable, and I will say, she's true mother in personification. I've been with her several times. I've asked her question, why is it that other kings are not collaborating with you? Why is it that you people will allow the Omo sheep to fade away? And she told me, she is not the highest Omo. That the Omo of Ogbaru is older than her. But based on her education qualification, based on her position globally, as a well-traveled individual, spent most of her life in America, have traveled more than 20 countries across the globe before she passed on. They allowed her to become the head of the Omo, which most of you are witness to the fact. 90% of the Omo sheep leaders we have today who are remaining, very few of them. I'm not sure any of them is a graduate. But that is not a yardstick to judge who is Omo or who is not Omo. Omo, in other hands, is supposed to be a queen's mother. Queen's mother were always there from ancient time in our culture and tradition. But they had a fallout with the kings. Because most of them were crossing their boundary already, which the kings would not tolerate. And most of the kings had become greedy, encroaching on the right of the Omos that brought conflicts. And so the king used their power and gradually began to dismantle the Omo sheep. Majorly because the Omo were supposed to be funded by the revenue derived from our community daily markets. And the king, simply because we have failed to take care of them, decide to descend on the same source of income of every community. And so the Omo sheep and the king begin to drag who collects the daily revenue from our community market. That is where their major crises begin. And so most of them are responsible for suppressing the Omo sheep. But let me tell you the duty of the Omo sheep. The Omo sheep were there, empowered to one end alone, just like the Queen of England or the like of Iyoja of Yoruba ethnic groups. The Omoship was actually there to handle issues that even the king, the fathers, cannot handle. Because it is believed that only the Omo or only the woman can take care of a male child and a female child at the same time. Men cannot take care of a female child at birth. They know nothing, but women can. Men can take care of a man child when he's born because they are men. But women are not men, but they can do the same thing. It is known by nature that we are attracted to our mothers more than our father. Not because our mother is better than our father, because they have this gift to absorb everyone, to contain everyone, to manage everyone. And so when certain issue comes up that is even involving the king, they will allow the queen mother to weigh and use her office to bring peace. And so they were unique in their own way. They were the one who were teaching our sisters, our daughters, our young ladies, the queens of the old ancient empire, not to be prostitute, olosho, not to misbehave. They were the standard of morality when it comes to the feminists. And since they destroyed that platform, that is when you can see somebody who is proudly olosho telling you to join my WhatsApp group, because even their mother, for some reasons, cannot even take care of them. And that time I had this discussion with her. Their cry is that the Omo sheep will die. And so ordinarily, late Omo of Okpanam would not have come out and take side of Anyoma people, not to talk of taking side of Igbo people. She would have only pointed us to the direction on how to recover ourselves. Go and check all her video and what she talks about the Igbo nation and about the Anyoma people. And I could say 90% of what I know more of Anyoma people in general, it was that woman and like-minded people who were sincere enough to tell us the story. You would know before she passed on. She was not in good terms with the king of Okpanam. The same reason I have told you that many kings shut down the Omo. And now, if Omo of Ogbaru, who know these rules and regulations that governs the Omo sheep, will come out and talk like IPOB member, you cannot be surprised what Senator John Mbata is doing in Ohaneze Ndigbo. You cannot be surprised what Ned Nwoko, senator as well, is doing about the issue of Anyoma. Absolute power corrupt absolutely. And so if our intelligent young men and women can fall for these Igbo Biafra people, what about those of you who your children cannot speak your language? What about those of you who your children can't even pronounce the name of your village? What about those of you are not very sure your children will enter the land of their birth? What about those of you who are not sure you will come home? Who will bring your children home? How will they find their way back home? Because there are people giving birth like pig in your community to take over your people. They thought their population has outnumbered us in our community. The last pressure they are putting is to silently exterminate us. Nobody will see the history. They will absorb us, assimilate us completely. They come in as friends. They come in as our lovers. They come in as if they want to protect us. They want us to see them as our savior, and they are not our savior. We know the role they are going to play. And so if people like Omo of Okpanam cannot come out and tell them the true history of Okpanam, the Omo of Ogbaru and the remaining surviving Omo cannot fight for a way to continue to sustain the Omo sheep, but rather getting involved in the history of Igbo Biafra people. Believe me, I am beginning to lose faith in the Omo sheep, and I'm not very sure they will survive. People like Professor Ben Wabweze, when it comes to this issue, can be classified as dishonest intellectual people. Igbo people does not deny him because he did their bidding very well. But they deny Chukwumanzogo. They even deny Ifajona. They knew Ifajona was not original Igbo. That was why they executed him. and Nzogo know what would have happened to him. That is why he unalived himself. We know all this truth. We are not trying to look for problem, but we are asking you to stop. The damage and evil you have done to us is enough in the name of Anyencha Bundibu. Like I said, no matter how you falsify the story, it takes only an emperor to rule an empire. And that takes us back to Benin. There were eras where regions in Africa, global community, were ruled by emperors. And here, the part of the world where we come from, there was one emperor that existed. It was the throne of the Oba of Benin. He was not just a king. He was an emperor. And as an emperor, he ruled an empire. And then, when the era of the emperors and the empire were gone, he became a king. And as we speak, there are deliberate efforts to disturb, completely destroy, or politicalize the monarch system. And you see those of you king, all of you king, and I'm sure if you do not stand your ground and put the record straight, there will be no kingship maybe in the next 50 years. Your children will not sit on that throne. Mark my word, because you are ignoring all the signs all around you. The emperor of the Benin Empire never knew a day like this will come until there were conspiracy against the European nation and they descended with brutal force upon the ancient Benin Empire. And the emperor was brought down. But somewhere along the line, because the empire was institutionalized already, they were unable to destroy the kingship. And so somewhere the line, after the humiliation of Ovaromi Obaise, because he stood for the truth, he stood for the indigenous right of the people in the old ancient empire. That empire, that emperor's throne was reduced to a kingdom. And today, most kings under this empire don't even have regard for Oba of Benin. Sometimes it's not a deliberate act. Sometimes they will tell you, after all, they are in another state, you are in another state. And you want to become the overall king in your state. No. Sometimes they believe he's Oba of Benin, let him believe. Some people are trying to even drag the Oba of Benin and equate him with the Oba of Esha, or Onogi of Ebake, or Obi of Agbo, or Asaba of Asaba. This is an insult to our culture and tradition. Believe me, I cannot come out and tell you I'm a Benin man. I'm not a Benin man. I am a Agbo man. But I can confidently tell you that we are descendants from the ancient Benin Empire. There is nothing you can do about it. And now, as I was saying, most of these kings who are aware, including the Obi of Onitsha, knowing where they are coming from, including all the Onyenwele in Ikwiri land, all of them, if they want to tell you the truth, from Ahoda, Abua, Adua, Zoba, Mbuoba, Chuba, all these people who know and agree and truly are still in connection with the oral record handed over to them, that they are descendants from the ancient Benin Empire, will know this truth I want to tell you. When I was younger, my village king is only a king when he's in my community. I'm talking about a car community now. And so there are a lot of neighboring community. All of them have their king. And they used to have meeting during festive period or when there is emergency. All the community kings, ranging up to 446 or more, will gather because we are not having autonomous community. They will go to the palace of the Obi of Agbo. I think this tradition began to end or begin to die with the passing away of Gbenoba, the Deni of Agbo, who eventually was the father of the Deni Ikechiku, who gave birth to the current monarch, Deni Kabwekusi. And so when kings from Ekukwabo, when kings from Alehame, were kings from the neighboring community, Ali Shimie, Ekmun, Eru, and the rest of them, Alagwa, when they enter the palace of the Obi of Agbo, automatically they are no longer king. They are first-class chief. And there are first-class chief in the palace of the Obi of Agbo. These people don't have a kingdom that they rule over, but they have as much power, even more than your village king. And then there were law and order. And kings had a place where, in fact, kings has their own correctional center. Not today, most of our kings are busy selling our community land. And they will tell you they are king. Some of them are even pastor, and I'm not against you. But Jesus told you, give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and give to Jesus what belongs to Jesus. You are a pastor as a king does not mean you should begin to violate your conscience. But you cannot forget that Jesus recognized kingship in his time, and he did not convert any of them. Use your brain. Because some of you now are quoting Bible to judge traditional marriage. Now some of you have chased away your own DBS because they are evil. But we shall know who is deceiving who later on. But let me not digress further. And now, by the time they return to their villages, they are king. And it was applicable in the same way if for any reason the Obi Benoba, for instance, will go to the palace of Oba of Benin. Automatically, he becomes a first-class chief in the palace of the Oba of Benin. Although somewhere along the line, I could say it's been over-exaggerated by the Benin people. Because each time they want to pass this information across, most of them use the mentality of Igbo Biafra people to want to project this truth. It's not necessary. I read an article, it say the Oba of Benin is the king of all kings. And now for those of us who are Christians, may not like the sound of that. Because the way our brain has been wired religiously, we want to believe that only Jesus is the King of Kings, even when we have not seen him, even when we don't know much about him, except what they told us in the Bible. But it's okay. And so if based on religion, and you begin to see the Oba of Benin as the King of Kings with that language, many Christians will look at you as an antichrist, and you can never win their approval. They will not agree. But I know when the Benin say the Oba of Benin is the King of Kings, it's not about trying to overrate him. It's about trying to remind us that there were eras where all the kings you see today from the ancient Benin Empire are brought down to high chief when they enter the palace of the Obi, of the Oba of Benin. And so, if they were high chief aside their community, who is in the position to tell you the history of your people? Is it the Omo, whose major duty was to help our sisters, our mothers, to grow and to know their duties in the community? If I open a chart now and say, women, come and tell me your role in the society, I will assure you 99.9% don't know their role as a woman. Some of them think it's to open leg and give birth, talk rubbish, be slave queen. But you people don't know that you people are the true custodian of our culture and tradition. The secret of our entire generation used to be in the hand of the women. That is why we don't trade our women for any reason. That is why we hardly allow our women to marry outside, because they will expose our history there. Go and look at all the women that are coming to challenge Anyoma, talk rubbish. They are married to outsider because during bedside they talk rubbish. My mother can cook a goosey soup. She need to have a baby girl to teach Ofurioma, Ofujuju. Those of you now, for instance, Abo people who are married to non-Abo, you will see, you will not eat Ofujuju again. You will not eat ofe Yoma again. You will not eat ofe Ononwabu again. You will not eat ofe Kaka again. You will not eat ofe Jabala again. It's gone, it's gone. And if your wife come from like Yoruba, get ready to eat Ewedu, Efo, Amala. And it's like that. They could alter your family history. And that is why in most cases, when some women talk regarding family affair, I want to know them first of all, where they come from. I want to know the bed they sleep, who is their husband. Because those people who have compromised this process cannot come out and speak for the people. Most especially when they have betrayed tradition. It's not an offense anyway, because we go to where we find love. But then the Omo were there to advise the young girls. Oh, our daughter, now that you are married to this man, we know he's your husband. Please, please, don't tell him the secret of your people. This marriage may not be for true love. Love your husband. Take care of your children. But you see our history that you know, let it die with you. Go and look at King Solomon, who have to marry many wives. In his entire reign, no nation dare draw sword against him. Because he has the puppy you call his wife and concubine that will go as an emissary on his behalf to settle dispute. They were more of like ambassador. And so when you have issue with Egypt, he will call his Egyptian wife, who happens to be one of Pharaoh's daughter, and say, please, oh, your father behaved like this, your people did like this. It's not very good for our relationship. Please help me talk to your father. The queen or the princess does not need protocol to see the father. Even if it's midnight, he goes to the father, who is the king, and say, Daddy, this is what my husband said. This is, even though the king would not have given attention to such issue, he will remember the marriage affiliation, and his mind will calm down. And so if nobody is grooming our women, what do you expect will happen to us? You think when you destroy the black man, you destroy the black race? No. When you destroy the women of any race, you destroy those people. That thing they are doing to you in UK, you think because they love your women, when you correct your wife, they will throw you out of the house and give the house to your wife. When you do like this, they will give your wife child support and help your wife to destroy you. When you talk, they throw you in prison and allow your children to raise only your children. Your wife to raise your children. You don't know there is something they are doing to the next generation. But is that what we are going to begin to talk when the real problem is coming from our land? So somebody should go and tell the remaining or more alive today. They should not get involved in politics. They should not get involved in IPOB Biafra rubbish, because we will help rubbish them. They know their duty. They know what they are supposed to do. They are supposed to be on Facebook or any social media appealing to the next generation of our daughters to toe the line of the Omoship. We know everything about the Omoship. We know if Omo were doing what they're supposed to do, all this baby factory will not be around. We will not hear about baby factory, because we used to give birth to some of the most disciplined females. We call them their queen. You will not do anything about it. And now, Omo is behaving like a IPOB coordinator. Igbo Biafra people. I'm telling you, no, look at our world. Igbos are strong, so Abo people are weak. Igbos can give birth, so Abo people are barren. Or is it Yoruba that is weak, or Hausa is weak? Make una use una sense. You will incite Nigerians against Nigeria. And later on, you will pretend they are envying us because we are strong, because we can give pregnancy. My mother born us 11, 10 boys, 1 girl. No one be operation. In fact, we don't have female in our family. Both my mother's side, my father's side, they run for us. So we are not even expecting baby girl. But my mother in her time said, if I don't have a baby girl, I will not stop giving birth. She born 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. She was old. I heard her discussing with her friends. And they say, Mama, you don't old now, stop. And she told them, if I no born girl, I'd rather die having during childbirth than to stop. And God honored her. Because that was in 1986. She was heavily pregnant. And her body system has started reacting because she was old already. And thank God she gave birth successfully, and it was a baby girl. That is when she stopped. And so you cannot say you give birth more than my mother. It's only triplets she didn't born, but she gave birth to twins. After all, she is a twins. And the thing has continued in our family. And none of us is a cripple. None of us blind eye. All of us are normal. Only one died in India. The rest of us are here. Why am I bringing it up? When you are supposed to be doing the right thing, you are telling us, Igbo people are very strong, Igbo people are very productive, Igbo people are very wealthy. How am I to Is it by selling fake drug? All the atrocity of Igbo Biafra that is out there now, becoming a testament against Nigeria. What they are trying to do on social media platform is to push the narrative to other people. Were they not on the social media telling you that Abo is the center where they do fake miracle? That if you are a pastor, you want to do fake miracle, that is Abo people that organize it. Until I made a broadcast and asked them, all the mega pastors in Nigeria, none of them is Abo man. Johnson Suleiman is not Abo man. Paul Onoche is not Abo man. David Ebiome is not Abo man. Benson Edausa is not Abo man. Chris Eyakilome is not Abo man. W.F. Kumuyi is not Abo man. T.B. Joshua is not Abo man. Abel Damina is not Abo man. Adeboye, Oyedepo, Olukoya, all of them, no one is Abo man. So even Joshua Omotosho is not Abo man. Both the ones dead or alive, none of them is Abo. How can Abo become the center of fake miracle people? But they will not tell you about Tendabuski. I don't even know his name. They will not tell you about Ebukubi. These people are not fake miracle. It's Abo that organized fake miracle for them. They are the one doing baby factory. They are the one selling fake drug. They are the one doing all the bad things that we know in Nigeria. But they are on social media pushing it to other people. Crime victim. I appeal to our people who studied education, who studied English language, some of you who are professors. This is the time all of you must rise up. Begin to gather history of our people and begin to write book about it. Most of you will just graduate and you're looking for employment everywhere. This is the era where you must understand that the pen is mightier than the sword. Go and look at all our leaders from inception. For Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe to be known in Nigeria, he needs to have a pilot newspaper. Today is Democracy Day. For somebody like Abiola to have so much impact in Nigeria, he needs to have Concord newspaper. Go and look at somebody like Enahuru. For him to be able to live, become visible in the midst of those gladiators. He was the Auditor General of the African pilot newspaper of Nnamdi Azikiwe. Chinua Achebe, people like Wolon Soyinka, if they have not written their books in English, who will know them? What did Chinua Achebe achieve? Except he told the truth in all his books. And they did not accept it from inception. But later on, everybody is beginning to appreciate it. Aside being the personal assistant of Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, what is achievement? He wrote down true histories. Things fall apart. And Igbo people are not asking themselves where the things fall apart today. They are scattering the remaining one. Don't worry. We will aid you. We will help you as you don't have sense. What am I trying to say? The Lion and the Jewel by Wolon Soyinka is not enough to give him fame or give him money. But it's a Laurel Nobel simply because he wrote a book. And there are a lot of our people who have written book. But somewhere along the line, they even jettisoned their book. And now we are beginning a collection of books written to protect the history of Eka people. We are collecting all of them. We are beginning to review them. We want more writers. Because if you don't write your history, somebody will help you write it. You can imagine somebody coming to tell you that Ebaki people, their name is Igbo Akere. Thunder fire all of them. And then so Ebaki says, yes, we are Igbo Akere. They will now tell you that the same group of people are in Ikwere land. They call them Obakere. So when you are Igbo land, it's Igbo people. When you are Ikwere land, you are Obakere. And the Obakere, is that true? And then when you are in Agbo, you are Igbo Akere, Njushi. And you will think it's harmless, it's okay. But at the time they will descend on your children with this false information. Thank you, God, that our message will be here to guide them home. So it takes an emperor to rule an empire, as it takes a king to rule a kingdom. There has nothing like Igbo Empire, nothing like Yoruba Empire. I can give it to the Hausa people. They used to have Zamfara Empire, not even Hausa Empire. And when they talk about Biafra Empire, go and study that map very well. Let us assume the Igbos of today are part of that ancient empire. Then Cameroon, some part of Cameroon, should also be part of that Biafra. Why will Igbo people claim it? Because the Igbo man put signboard, bite of Biafra. And then let Benin people begin to fight for their own country because we have bite of Benin, Mumu people. No, because they put signboard and say bite of Biafra, it can't become Igbo. It means Biafra because Nnamdi Kanu is from Afari Beku. So Biafra now mean Biafra. That is what Nnamdi Kanu said on Radio Biafra. That word Biafra in Igbo language means Biafra. And he come from Afari Beku. So the Biafra was created by Biafra people. He lied to his people. That is why Ojukwu built the bunker. These are organized crime against indigenous people. What a shame. What a disgrace. And so if you have the right to be fighting for Biafra because the man signboard of bite of Biafra in a land that doesn't belong to your own, in a Bani land, in a Jaw land, is that why you want to tell us that Opobo is Igbo? Because Ibani people accommodated them. Yes, there are Igbo descendants. Why can't you respect them today that they are now a Jaw? That they have moved on. After all, they were sold into slavery. All of them, Igbo people bought them as slaves. You want us to tell you the other side of history you are not ready for? We already know the truth. And so we can wake up today, we from the Benin descendant, and we start fighting. Give us our Benin Empire. Give us our Benin Empire. It will sell more than Biafra. Because till tomorrow morning, every historian, every archaeological discovery, all of them are pointing to one direction. That every known history or record about Benin people, 99.9% of them are true. The only tiny dot that it can be faulted is the one that is presented through over-exaggeration. So when you are part of our society and you expect all of us to coexist, becoming the author of our destiny, leave our culture, leave our tradition, leave our heritage alone. Don't mingle with our value system. Begin to build young girls now. Focus on bringing another generation of ownership. This is something even the Queen of England cherish, admire, wishing the institution, which is over 760 years, could be restored. We are doing like IPOB person because Igbo people are begging for unity. Oh yeah, continue now. Biafra no work, Igbo unity. Igbo unity no work, obedient movement. Una no get shame. In case you are mad, we cure mad people. And when you think you cannot be cured, we will tell you there is a difference between you are mad and you are crazy. Can't other ethnic group have peace because we have Igbo Biafra from Israel? And now in case you are Igbo person and you're listening to this broadcast, go and look at what some of your people are saying. Old men, of course, stupid people grow old. They will sit down and wear cloth and put the sign of the Star of David and say, yes, Abraham, when we were sold, they sold our brother Joseph into Egypt. And then when we reach Egypt, we were the chief priests. You talk rubbish and garbage. It doesn't add up. This lie has been online for more than 70 years. To the extent that Israel people decide to send people to carry out DNA test on Igbo people. They came to Aguneri and Imuneri. They had confrontation with Nigeria in that era. But Israel were determined to know if this assertion is true. Aguneri and Imuneri people, do I talk lie? And after conducting DNA test on them, they went back and said, no, these people are not Israel people. And that was what gave that story now died down. But these Israel people went to Ethiopia. They saw the offspring of King Solomon through Queen Bathsheba. There were evidence that some Ethiopians are descendants of Israel. They are Hebrews, children of Solomon. Another of his cabinet member who coexisted and married. Ethiopia have the Jewish blood there. Have you seen any Ethiopia person claiming we are the Israel, we are the Israel? Do you know even the history of the ancient Hebrew is with the Ethiopian people? That is why you cannot bend them. You won't give them your calendar. There is a limit to what you can do. They still hold on to the original. Everything original about Africans, they are the custodians. But there are some bunch of slaves who don't know where they are coming from. Tomorrow they are Biafra. Tomorrow they come from Equatorial Guinea. Next tomorrow, because they don't know where they come from. Some of them may be our brother, believe me. Some of them can be Benin people, Hausa people. But the fact is that these are a bunch of slaves who now found relevant the year slavery was abolished. A true Igbo man don't falsify their history. They will tell you where they come from. Did you not see the Igwe of Uguta telling you who they are? Despite the fact they answer Igwe, did you not see the symbol of the Abam and the Adam? Why are you changing the history? And now to cut this long story short, it takes an emperor to rule an empire. And it takes a king to rule a king. And you can't forget in a hurry now, Igbo Nwezi. Igbo don't have king. So you don't have a kingdom. You can't lay claim on my kingdom that I come from you until I see your king. Go and manufacture your king. I think Oke Bakassi is a king now. Comedian king. Continue. So all of you coming to talk, we are observing all of you. You will collect. But remember, it's not hatred that drives us. If you keep quiet, you will destroy our children. And then our professors, our academians, our bunch of intellectuals, the earlier you begin to keep the record straight, the better. And the truth or the beauty of the job is that our work is liable or subjected to correction verification. Don't make any mistake about it. Because we have to bring narratives from different angles. And then we will be able to know where we got it right and where we got it wrong. I'm George Unibe, and I'm from Agbo. I'm not Igbo man. I'm not Biafra man. Let me receive my insult. So we continue. Where are those insulting people? Where are they? I see good luck. Good morning, good luck. I see Uyi. Uyi, good morning. I see Ozaz. I greet you. Good morning from here. Who else again? Who else again? I see Chief Nwikede. Say you are not Igbo. You are correct, Chief. You are correct. Unyabo kenwo. Urugodo kweno mom ya kenno swe. Wa mwezi fe no akpa nwata. Nwata agwa na ejele Igbo ebimbo. Ele m onye Igbo nu. Unyabo kenwo. Chief, thank you for noticing this. And talk to your people if you are Igbo. Let them be contented. Let Igbo be Igbo. Let Yoruba be Yoruba. Let Hausa be Hausa. Let Eka be Eka. Is that not fair enough? And if you are uniting us for genuine reason, it makes sense. You want to colonize us. We have passed the era of believing. This is the era of knowing. I greet you, Kelvin. I greet you, Kelvin. And then the chief went on to say, Sunday Olise is not Igbo. Was he Olise before? Or was he Igbo before? Does Igbo people know the meaning of Olise? Igbo, now they call Olise. No be Chuku, now they call. Very soon, all our people that answer Ikechukwu will change their name to Olise. Do you people know the meaning of Olise? Is there anybody in the southeast that answers Olise? We call Chukwu God. We have numerous names. We, the Anyoma people, call God. We call him Olise. We call him Osolobwe. And we call him Chukwu. Osolobwe should be Bini people. Olise is our own. And Chukwu is Igbo own. Bini is not claiming us now because we call him Osolobwe. Sonem gogo, Inye Chukwu menimo, Eronimeo, Orejumobi, Wogo no sokamo, Ekeleri no Solobwe, Onye menimi heno. Ekele ya no Solobwe. If you know that song, he said, let greetings, glory, thanks, honor be to the Creator. Osolobwe onye menimi heni. Ndị agba ọnụ eji Osolobwe ikpere, ndị Benin nwekwa Osolobwe o. Nke anyị wụ Olise. Nke ndị Igbo Chukwu ka na-enye yuzu weto. Sunday efa aghọsịgwala ya eziokwu ni Sunday Olise is not Igbo. Because Igbo don't use Olise for God. But yet they are dragging him. He must be Igbo. Anene is not Igbo. Check all the bad people in history. No one is Igbo. Rubbish people. And then what did Chief say? Chief say, I am from Nri. I am from what? Nri. Is it Oka Kingdom? And certainly those of you in from what do you call it? This Nnewi people. We know most of you there. You are not Igbo people. About 70% of Nnewi people are not Igbo people. You think we don't know all these things? You that is in the chief, when Israel people come to check your DNA, did they say people are Israel? Nnamdi Kanu, when he was running mad, taking drug, he ran to Israel. He opened the embassy in Israel. Did you not know that Netanyahu chased him away? And then that was when it dawned on them that they are deceiving themselves. They were calling different people. He said Igbo mean ancient people. But Chief, Igbo still mean weed, Igbo. Which one are you? Are you ancient people or you are weed? Igbo mean forest, bush, Ofia. Which one now? You think you can deceive us? Igbo mean ancient people. Why don't you tell us that Igbo mean weed? So when some Igbo Biafra are behaving mad, we know they have taken Igbo. Go and educate your children to respect who they are. Onye Igbo. Have a nice day.